Hi, Curt Carlson with my value creation tip for the week. And today I want to talk about how do you develop a customer-focused enterprise? That is, one whose driving ambition is to constantly create new value for its customers. And at the end, I'm going to talk about something that I think can really up our game at doing that. Let me start with a famous quote by Peter Drucker. Because the purpose of a business is to create a customer, the business enterprise has two, and only two basic functions: marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation produce results. All the rest are costs. That's our job. In any enterprise of any sort, it's to produce a customer. So we know that there are all kinds of issues in companies that get in the way of this. There are barriers to the flow of information, there are barriers to people, there's secrecy, there's no place sometimes to bring new ideas. There's no way to sort out the good from the not so good ideas. There may be slow hierarchies, and there may be no way for employees to learn even how to do this. So how do you do this in a way that doesn't require major reorganizations? Because that's not going to work. That'll stop this. And at the same time, both reduces expenses and dramatically improves performance. How can we do that? So let me mention some of the ingredients that go into this, and we'll talk more about this in future videos. So the first thing is, of course, this has to be part of the strategic intent of the enterprise. The enterprise must make the creation and delivery of new customer value inevitable. That's a big term, but what I'm trying to imply here is that the enterprise can't depend on a lone genius or luck. It's got to have a systematic, robust process that regularly and systematically, and for very good fundamental reasons, keeps on delivering new customer value. There must be a mission and metrics that are well understood by employees so they know what to focus on and what success looks like. It's got to have great human values. Value creation is a profoundly human activity. And if you don't have respect, trust, integrity, it's very hard to be systematically successful because people won't collaborate with the kind of intensity that's required. You've got to be able to address the needs of the enterprise, both for incremental and transformational innovations. Most businesses have kind of a core business where you keep on adding more value to the solutions for your customers. And you need to keep on making those. But there also is a need for transformational innovations to either protect the core business or to open up new opportunities to grow and develop more new customers and more new businesses. You need resources. Obviously, great people, money, and facilities. Curiously enough, we've never seen that as the major problem in all the companies we've been in. It's always been about management and our people doing the kinds of things we're talking about here. You need transparency. You may have the smartest 10,000 people on the planet, but if nobody can talk to them and they can't share their unique knowledge, your company may be no more innovative than three gals and guys in a garage down the street who do collaborate intensely and who tap into the collective genius of not only their own team, but the entire world's smartest people. Of course, we need a value creation process, and you need staff development. Very few people understand these skills. No one came to SRI knowing how to do this. We had to train all of our professional staff, even though they were, PhDs from Harvard, MIT, Caltech, Stanford, Berkeley. These things are not taught. Right now, they're only taught at two major universities, Worcester, Polytechnic, and Northeastern, and hopefully more soon. Okay, with those pieces in place, what is a reasonable first organizational design to make these things happen? No surprise, it's based around value creation forums. These are meetings where people come together, 3 to 5 teams, every 2 to 6 or 8 weeks, depending on what kind of work they're doing. They present their value propositions and they get feedback from the team members. What was good, what can be improved, eyes of the customer, eyes of the investor. All positive, no negatives. These meetings are about amplification, not division. They're about adding, not subtracting. In these meetings, the basic framework is always NABC value propositions. The 3 to 5 minute or 10-minute presentation is based on those 4. Other ideas are added over time. The reason we start there is because those 4 questions are fundamental to every new innovation. And if you can't answer those 4, you still really don't know what you're doing. And they set the direction for everything else you're going to do. So you got to get those first, and then that tells you where to go. These forums allow you to learn fast because they're sharing information, you're getting new knowledge, and you're seeing exemplars of what works and what doesn't. And because of that learning, the staff are much more able to decide what makes sense and what doesn't, and to stop and start various things. You want management to do that as infrequently as possible. You want to push those decisions down to the people who have the most knowledge, and that's generally your staff. Now, we use these kind of forums for both incremental and transformational value creation. For incremental value creation, you may use a basic NABC value proposition and then migrate to a different methodology like Scrum or design. That would be something like a website where you pretty much know what to do and you want to get it done rapidly and efficiently through those kind of models. Transformational innovations like Siri are different. They're complex. They kind of emerge. You put all these different forms of knowledge together, and it's a complicated mix of pieces that you have to, it's hard to figure out. It takes time. And you may start there with, well, you will start there with NABC value propositions. You may stay there for a long time before you figure out what direction to go into. But eventually, as you do, you'll migrate again to different kinds of value creation methodologies, whether it's a joint venture, a new division in your company, or a new standalone venture outside. So those are the basic frameworks, and that kind of basic mechanism, which doesn't require major reorganizations, doesn't cost very much money except for pizza and Coke when you have the meetings, allows you to put the fundamentals in place. And it does one other thing, which is kind of magical. Because they're all based on NABC value propositions, after a while, everybody in the enterprise knows that everything starts with understanding the customer. And everybody knows that you have to answer the fundamentals of a value proposition for everything you do. And those realizations are fundamental. When everybody knows that you start everything with a value proposition that starts with the customer need, you've become a customer-focused enterprise. And that is a different kind of enterprise. So how long does it take to get to this point? I'd say about 3 years, but you will see improvement almost immediately. And from that, you'll build on that, and you'll start integrating these ideas into other organizational functions like intellectual property, which I'll talk about at some point. Okay, so that's a way for you to get started to create, without major organizational changes, a customer-focused enterprise. And I said something remarkable has happened recently, and that's the virus for obvious reasons, but it's also made the world, it put the world online. And so the kind of intense collaboration I'm talking about here was almost impossible 18 months ago. And now that everybody's online, it is possible. And what this opens up is a level of collaboration and iteration and learning. It's probably 10 times what it was 18 months ago. It also opens up the opportunity of acquiring and sharing resources from around the world in a way that was impossible just 18 months ago. And I believe that the companies who recognize this and take advantage of this will have a really large competitive advantage going forward. I think this is a really big deal. And we're already seeing it in some of the organizations and universities we're working with. This really is a game changer. So I hope you'll use these ideas in your value creation activities. And remember, it's through value creation and innovation that we're going to change the world. Good luck, be safe, bye-bye.